Guys, it's your pal Ben here with Twig Cycles in Hagerstown, and today I'm going to be doing a quick walk around this brand new 2022 Honda Pioneer 700 four-seater Deluxe that we just got in. There's a ton of people waiting for these 700s and 1000s, and surprisingly enough, we get this Pioneer 700 four-seater, which happens to be a Deluxe edition, and it's officially up for grabs. So no one has a deposit on this thing. Today it is the 27th of July 2022, so if you're in the Hagerstown area or willing to travel, as of right now, it's about 12:30, it's up for grabs, so give me a shout. But anyway, we're gonna do a quick walk around here and check this thing out. So I'm going to show you how this thing actually operates. So again, this is a Pioneer 700. They do the 700 in a two-seater and a four-seater. The four-seater, essentially, the rear bed, cargo bed, transforms into two usable jump seats. They're not the most comfortable seats in the world, but at least allows for two more passengers, making this a four-passenger machine. But I'm getting ready to shoot back the road here. Just wanted to show you how this thing really operates. So right here you have your key. And essentially just turn the key on like you would your vehicle. These come equipped with a 3-speed transmission. Whether or not you have it in automatic mode or manual mode, it still shifts through all 3 gears. However, obviously in automatic mode, the machine's going to shift on its own. If you have it in manual mode, you're the one doing all the shifting. So I'm going to start this video off by saying Honda, great job with this. A big complaint I had for the past couple of years was the shifting points on the Pioneer 700. The 3-speed transmissions on these always, so they shift based off of RPM. And it always seemed to me like the Pioneer 700s always tacked super high RPMs before it actually shifted into the second gear. And I couldn't stand it for the longest time. But coming back the road, driving through the parking lot, it actually shifts at a much lower RPM. So now it's not as loud. Now it's a lot smoother. It shifts a lot smoother. So as of this year, Honda did a great job adjusting those shift points. So I'm going to start off by saying that. But anyway, let's jump into it a little bit closer. All right, guys. So the Pioneer 700. This is a 59.6 inch wide machine. So it's not overly wide. As far as your ground clearance, it's standing at right about 10.6 inches worth of ground clearance. Let me get a view of that here real quick. Get you front view here. So there's the front end. One of the things I do like, actually, Honda outfits this machine with a front brush guard. I think if you're going to have a utility-oriented side-by-side, always throw a brush guard on that thing. Honda went ahead and did that from the factory. And the other thing, too, that I really want to note is these tires. Now, surprisingly enough, they actually don't put as much of an aggressive tire on the 1000s as they do on this thing. So these are actually some pretty bitey factory tires. One might think that those are aftermarket tires. Those are not. Those come factory on the Pioneer 700, and those wheels come factory on this Deluxe model, not on a base model. So base model is not going to have the power steering. It's not going to have the manual shift capability, and it's going to come with the basic ugly steel wheels essentially, but it will come with those tires. So moving along here, as far as the vehicle capability, this has a 1,000-pound bed capacity. All right, so 1,000-pound bed capacity, an overall 1,500-pound towing capacity. So if you're comparing this to, let's say a Polaris Ranger 570, it's actually right in line with that 570. The Ranger 570 from Polaris has a 1,500-pound towing capacity and right around a 900 to 1,000-pound bed capacity as well. So this is right in line. We do get a lot of folks that ask, why would I choose this over a like a Ranger 570 or say a Kawasaki Pro MX. Well, so I'm gonna get into some of the differentiating factors here. So this is right in line with say a Kawasaki Pro MX, which is a 700cc single cylinder machine, just like this. Almost looks very similar to it, same width and everything, same dimensions. The Ranger 570 as well is kind of right around that same power range. I will say the Ranger 570 actually has more horsepower than what this Pioneer 700 does. So, but really what kind of sets us apart, a lot of folks, still a lot of the genuine Honda owners that are used to Honda's product, they like the ability that you can actually shift through the gears on this machine. And as I had mentioned coming back the road there, this does have a 3-speed transmission. This is not a belt drive transmission, just like every other side-by-side out there on the market. Every other side-by-side ATV that I know of is belt drive or CVT. This is not. This is a true gear-on-gear driven transmission, and this is a 3-speed, whereas the Pioneer 700, I'm sorry, Pioneer 1000 is a 6-speed transmission. However, on this, so what you do here, as I had mentioned earlier, you have your button right there. So right there's manual mode and automatic transmission mode. So when you have an automatic, the machine's going to shift through the gears on its own. And when you put it into manual transmission mode, you're going to use these paddle shifts. So there's upshift and over there's downshift. You're going to use the paddle shifts to go through all 3 gears. All this does here, your joystick just puts it in reverse, neutral, or drive. And then of course you have 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and differential lock. So this does have locking differential. The Polaris does not, however. Polaris only has the Polaris on-demand all-wheel drive system. Let's scoop around here into the back. Again, this has a little over a 10-inch ground clearance. I want to scoop in here and kind of show you the rear end a little bit. A-arm setup, independent suspension the whole way around. You can actually adjust the preload on the suspension, which is nice if you're really loading it down. Full-size trailer hitch, receiver hitch on the back of here. And again, a little over 10 inches worth of ground clearance. I'm going to scoot back here and just kind of show you how the tailgate works. So that right there is what it looks like when the tailgate's down. And I'm going to go ahead and drop the bed, which is done with this lever right here, which is actually pretty nice. If you're sitting inside the machine and you already have the tailgate down, let's say you're getting ready to dump some mulch, you pretty much just pull up to the spot where you want to dump the mulch and pull the lever right where you're sitting at, and it drops the rear bed. And you can't quite tell from the video, it's actually at a pretty steep angle, so it's going to help, you know, dumping stones and rocks and mulch and brick and whatever else. It's going to make things easier. Now, the one thing about this machine, obviously this is a 700 4-seater, whereas like Polaris Ranger, you would have the crew. The crew from Polaris, you would have obviously 1 row in the front, 1 row in the back, and then your dump bed would be in the back. This is where Honda was kind of innovative. So they essentially took a Pioneer 700, and where they would normally have your dump bed, they actually installed 2 jump seats. And I'll get into that here in just a minute, but because of that, you have all these open seams here. So you have all these open seams kind of throughout the bed. All right. Now, Honda actually has an accessory bed mat that if you're going to be solely using this as a 2-passenger for the majority of the time, you can actually get a bed mat that covers up all those creases. That way you don't get any mulch or any kind of gunk down in those seats for your passengers in the back. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how the jump seats work. If you look over here, we have our door latch, which is right here on the inside. So that's how you open the doors, just like so. All right, and all you have to do, as long as the doors are open, you can actually just lift these seats up. There's nothing really holding them down with the door open. While the seats are down and you have the door closed, this piece right here is actually what's holding the seats down. Okay, so you do have physically something when the door is shut, something is holding the seats down. But while this is open, you can actually fold the seats up. Okay, unlatch this guy right there, drop your seat pad down, give it a nice pat, and then there's your seats. So now obviously you can see there's not a whole lot, there's less than a foot from your foot pan to your seat, to where you're sitting your butt. So there's not a whole lot of room. If you're 6'2", 6'3", you're basically eating your knees. So it's not the most comfortable setup, but again, very innovative on Honda's part. It is nice, if you're gonna be using this machine around a farm a lot, and if you're not using the bed, you can actually, like I say, fold those 2 seats up, put some extra passengers in the back, go from point A to point B, and there you have it. When you don't need the rear seats, you fold them down and use it as a rear bed for cargo and storage and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to kind of pan around. That way you guys can get a full view of the Pioneer. Get up close here. Everybody always comes up to the showrooms and pulls the hoods off, so I'm going to do the same here, just so you guys can see. There's not a whole lot underneath here. Just shows your radiator. There's your power steering unit. Not a whole lot up underneath here. Fuse box. So I think a lot of people show up and yank the hoods off thinking they're going to see a motor underneath here. All the motors in most side-by-sides are actually, you're either sitting on top of it or it's sitting right behind you. There's usually not a whole lot up underneath here. I'm going to zoom in here on these tires and wheels here for you, just so you guys can get a... Now again, these wheels only come equipped on the Deluxe model. The tires come on all the Pioneer 700 models, but these wheels are only special to the Deluxe edition. And you can get the Deluxe in just the 2-seater. It doesn't necessarily have to be a 4-seater to be a Deluxe model. Again, just a quick view on those shocks right there. And then on this front brush guard, you can get extended brush guards on these if you want to protect the headlights. You can get a winch on the front. You can get a plow on these. As far as your cab accessories go, you do have a ton of different windshield options. Same thing on the roof. You can get a soft roof. You can get a hard roof. This actually has an interesting roof setup because you can either get just the roof on the front and not the rear, or you can get both. That obviously would cover both you and your passengers in the back. Again, you can get the poly roof setup, you can get the canvas roof setup, the whole 9 yards. You can get actual full closeout doors. You can fully enclose this machine in its entirety. Now, just to show you what the inside of the cab looks like, there's nothing underneath these seats. There's no underseat storage. All of your storage is either in the back or up here in this pocket or in this glove box. It's not an overly, I mean, it's a pretty deep glove box. It is wide, so you have some space in there. Again, working your way over, you get 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, your 4-wheel drive with differential lock, your reverse, neutral, and drive, and then of course your automatic transmission and manual transmission modes selector. This machine does come equipped with power steering. Important note, none of the seats or steering wheels in any of the Pioneer 700s anyway, are adjustable. There is no adjustment to the seats or the steering wheel, so just be very cautious. I'm gonna just to kind of show you guys a little bit. I'm 6'1", 6'2". I'm sitting proper here in the seat. If I slouch a little bit, my knee is kind of hitting the dash a little bit, but if I sit proper with my back up against the backrest and I just drive normally, there's plenty of room. Again, I'm 6'2". I can almost fit a whole fist in between, not really. I mean, you can see there's just not a whole lot of space there. But again, if you're sitting, I'm 6'1", 6'2". Bear that in mind. If you're taller than me, maybe check out, if you're stuck on Honda, maybe check out the 1000 with a little bit more space, or maybe check out like a Ranger 570. Not to throw Honda under the bus at all, but just be wary. I'm doing these videos just so you guys can kind of get a touch and feel. I know it's hard to get these things, but I'm just being honest. That way you guys know kind of what to get a feel for. There's no adjustment on the seats and steering wheel, once again. And then over here you have your headlight switch, which is right there. And then because there is no park position over here, you do have an e-brake so you don't go rolling away. It just works like a vehicle does. And that, guys, is pretty much the scoop on the Honda Pioneer 700 4-seater Deluxe Edition. Once again, this does come equipped with power steering. It's a single-cylinder 700cc fuel-injected liquid-cooled motor. It's going to absolutely work and do whatever you need it to. Again, this is kind of putting you in the realm of, as far as class, this is considered a mid-size side-by-side. They do have a machine smaller called the Pioneer 520. Formerly the Pioneer 500, which I believe Honda's doing away with. I could be wrong there, but as far as your ground clearance, you're a little over 10 inches worth of ground clearance. It's a 59-inch wide machine, has a 1,500-pound towing capacity and a 1,000-pound bed capacity. So that is what you can pretty much load the bed down with. As always, guys, if you have any questions, please leave your questions in the comment section below or give us a call at our store number, 301-739-2773. I'm going to get back inside here because it is crazy hot out and I'm sweating. I'm literally dripping sweat right now. So I'm going to get back inside here in the AC. But again, guys, always appreciate when you reach out to me and leave your questions in the comment sections. I appreciate all the new followers and likes and subscribes. I like all the funny beard comments and stuff like that. So keep it up, guys. I really appreciate you for watching. And again, if you have any questions, just please don't be afraid to ask. If there's something that I missed in this video, please let me know, and I'm happy to check it out and answer your question as quick as I can. Thanks, guys, and we'll catch you later.